The judge has ruled.
Yeah, we've lost some talk.
Hi and welcome to Flossom Talk. I'm Tashti Floor, journalist, Hollywood truth teller, and your voice of reason in a town built on delusion. Okay, so the judge has ruled. And this time, not in favor of Blake Lively. You got to hear this. Also, we have to talk about how Ryan Reynolds is desperately planting news stories about himself. Today's People article is just so obvious, and it's getting embarrassing at this point. And as promised yesterday, I will get into this Rebel Wilson legal drama because there's so many parallels here to the Rebel Wilson story and to Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni story. There are also some of the same players here. Brian Friedman was actually defending Rebel Wilson in that case, and also Melissa Nathan, the crisis manager or the crisis team that Justin Baldoni hired, also worked for Rebel Wilson. But there's also a big red flag here for Blake if she wants to use this information in her own case. Rebel Wilson was the whistleblower of SH on the set of her own movie, but at the same time, she is being accused of doing to her producer what Blake Lively is accusing Justin Baldoni of doing to her. This is a mess, but I'll try to explain it as simple as I possibly can. Okay, so let's first go into this ruling by the judge. Hopefully you watched my episode yesterday because then I explained all the drama between all these publicists. So this is the parallel lawsuit between Stephanie Jones and Jennifer Abel. And Stephanie Jones, and the reason for this hearing on Monday was because Stephanie Jones realized that either Melissa Nathan is lying or Katie Case is lying. She's accusing them of orchestrating this website that defamed her called Stephanie Jones Leaks. And Melissa Nathan denies that she had anything to do with it. But then Katie Case, who worked with Melissa Nathan, said that Melissa is the one who asked her to create that website. Now, Stephanie Jones asked the judge, like, hey, we need more time here. We need to serve a broader subpoena on Katie Case to get more information from her. This is so important. And then the judge said, no. You're not getting more time. You had the opportunity already to get through all of this. You had the opportunity already to serve a broader subpoena. Deadline is gone. Deadline is over. You're not getting any special treatments here. So this is a big blow for Blake because she was hoping to use this information in her own case because she wanted to use this to discredit Melissa Nathan and tell a jury when that time's come, you know, hey, look what Melissa Nathan did to Stephanie Jones. Of course, she's going to do the same thing to me. And the judge has ruled, and it's not going to happen. And Stephanie Jones now is probably a bit upset with her attorneys who didn't act faster. And Blake Lively's attorneys, who still doesn't have any evidence, was really, really hoping that they would find that smoking gun that they've been looking for this entire time. Well, it didn't happen. Anyway, as I said, Ryan Reynolds is on a mission to make you believe that he's a really nice guy. So yesterday I spoke about this other article in People magazine that he planted. I mean, it's so obvious that they're planting these stories at this point. And I also spoke about yesterday all these new strategies that they use to manipulate keywords and SEO so that when you're searching for all these scandals, really nice article will come up, like this one and the one yesterday when he was. And both articles are actually from the same event here. So it's not that he did a new interview. They're just they're just cherry picking little parts from this interview to create stories around it. Yesterday was about how Ryan was welcoming dissents on movie sets, that he thought it was great to have a challenge and that he doesn't like yes men, and that he thinks a good leader is a good listener. Today, it's about family values, and it's about his relationship to his father and how that has shaped him and how much he's learned from all of this. So People magazine is writing here, Ryan Reynolds opens up about mercurial and unpredictable family home, says it fueled his anxious mind. Ryan Reynolds is getting candid about his childhood. It's funny to me in a way that he's so open about his emotions right now and, being in touch with his feelings, because these are things that he kind of accused Justin Baldoni of. Like when he created Nice Pool, that he was a man that was so in touch with his feelings. And now he's turning into that himself here. Interesting, I think. He's saying here, I do think that all of our patchwork quilt of struggles and failures and wounds and all that stuff is what leads to kind of differentiating yourself in a lot of ways. Because as a kid, if you grow up in a house that is, I'm not saying at my house, my home was like, some sort of World War II experiment. Okay, it had its lovely moments, but it was mercurial and unpredictable. And I find that to be kind of a receipt for an anxious mind. So he's trying to explain why he's anxious here. He's not perfect, you guys, if you thought that. So the anxious mind is constantly making stories, thinking ahead, planning, strategy. What happens if this happens when he or they come home? Or what happens if this is or that is broken? You start to get really kind of creative and you can be consumed by that. Or you can use it. And I've been using it. And he says that it was very easy for me to dine off the idea that my father and I didn't see eye to eye on anything, and that an actual relationship with him was impossible. As I'm older now, I look back at it and think that was my unwillingness at the time to meet him where he was. I could have maybe been there with him towards the end, and I wasn't. He and I just drifted apart, and that's something I'll live with forever. So he's really reflecting on his life here and his decisions, and he's owning his mistakes. He's painting a picture of this self-aware, emotionally intelligent movie star. Someone open and flawed, striving for honesty. He's not attacking Baldoni here. He's just painting himself as the opposite of what he believes that Baldoni really is. Because as you know, he doesn't think Justin Baldoni is actually a nice guy. He's just thinking that he's pretending to be a nice guy. Here we can see that Ryan is actually a really nice guy because he's learned from these mistakes and he came from a rough childhood. He is kind of a victim here, and he's a true example of a modern man who's in touch with his feelings. And he's also very supportive of his wife, as you know. Yeah, don't attack the other person like Justin Baldoni. Just make yourself look like the anecdote of that. That's exactly what Ryan is doing here. And yesterday I spoke about this story with Blake Lively, who was spotted in Trader Joe's just as a regular mom. And it's funny because Rob Shooter had a little segment about this today where he's saying that Blake Lively's cozy camera-ready stroll out of Connecticut Trader Joe's may have looked like a spontaneous suburban errand, but insiders said it's actually the soft launch of a full-blown image rehabilitation campaign. With her legal back and forth with Justin Baldoni still dominating headlines, Lively's team is reportedly shifting into visibly through normalcy mode. Translation, it's time for Blake to look relatable. I've spoken about this before. She's been doing this for a while now. It's a lot of homemade cooking, patchwork, all these things that she's been posting on her social media as well. That really fits into this article and what that's trying to do as well. It says here that Trader Joe's was no accident. One PR insider claims when a celebrity needs to soften their narrative, they lean into candid, just like you moments. Think cute sweaters, grocery bags, and family errands. And the strategy is only the beginning. So we're going to see more of this, obviously. Expect paparazzi-friendly farmers market strolls, coffee runs in comfy clothes, kid-focused outings, cozy fall jackets, accidental sightings that somehow feels perfectly framed. It's an old school technique, the source explains. Flood the public with wholesome imagery, and it reshapes the tone around the tougher headlines. Yeah, it says here that Blake's team is working overtime. If her Trader Joe's debut is phase 1, prepare for a full season of carefully casual Blake. The See, I'm Totally Normal tour has officially begun. Okay, so let's get into Rebel Wilson. I watched that 60-minute interview, and so should you. It's really interesting, and I still don't understand why Rebel Wilson actually came out and did this interview. I don't think it's good for her. That being said, with all the information that I have now, I have to say before I start talking about this, I don't know where I stand here. I don't know who I believe, but I do see some serious red flags in this story. So what really happened on the set of Rebel Wilson's directorial debut, The Deb? So she was super excited to get this opportunity to direct a movie. I think it's kind of a musical. But during the shoot of this film, her main actress, Charlotte McInnes, came to Rebel, according to Rebel, and complained about one of the producers of the movie, Amanda Ghost, and said that she had inappropriately touched her in a way, and they had a bath together. I don't know, I don't want to go through all the details there, but she basically explained that she had been SH'd by this woman. And then Rebel said she felt that it was her responsibility to report this. Then when she reported it, the actress Charlotte said, "No, it's not true. It never happened. I never told you that. I never said that I was uncomfortable in any situation." Then Rebel Wilson said that, "Well, you're a liar because you actually told me that you weren't comfortable." Then the producer of the movie, Amanda Ghost, claims that Rebel Wilson created a smear campaign against her as retaliation for calling out her behavior. That smear campaign was in form of a website, I think, and maybe some social media posts. And it was really outrageous, the things that she was accused of. She was accused of being, amongst other things, the Indian Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's ex-girlfriend. So these were really outrageous claims. Rebel Wilson says she had nothing to do with that website. There are evidence saying otherwise. I will get into that shortly. I just want to go back a little bit in regards to Rebel Wilson and her previous controversies. So I think it was last year she released this book called Rebel Rising. It turned out to be a bestseller, I think. And one of the reasons for that was because it created some headlines, amongst them her experience working with Sacha Baron Cohen. She was in a movie with him called Brothers Grimsby, and she accused him of asking her to do really inappropriate things on that set. Sacha Baron Cohen came out and he said, "This is all fabricated. There's nothing truth to it, and I can prove it. I have footage, I have witnesses." So we never really got to the bottom of that. Then in the same book, she also said that Adele can't stand her. I don't know the reason for that, but she said that Adele always turned her back at her when they met at social settings. And I don't know why she came out and said that. Maybe Adele doesn't like her. I don't know. But of course, that created some more headlines. And on top of that, if we go back a little further, in 2016, Rebel Wilson sued a group of Australian tabloids called Bauer Media Group, and that includes magazines like Women's Day, NW, and OK. And she sued them for defamation because they accused her of lying about her age, her real name, and her childhood backgrounds. And she said that that cost her acting opportunities. In 2017, a jury ruled in Rebel's favor, actually, in this case, and she got 4.5 million Australian dollars in damages. That is one of the largest defamation awards in Australian history. I remember hearing those stories about her age and that Rebel is not her real name. Anyways, let's get back to 2024, last year, when Rebel accused her film producers of theft, bad behavior, bullying, and blocking the film's release at a major film festival. So the producers, Amanda Ghost and Gregor Cameron, are telling a different story. They're saying that Rebel Wilson wanted writer credits for the movie, and they didn't want to give her a full writer's credit. And she got really upset about that. And that is the reason why she came out with these accusations against them. So in July 2024, Rebel Wilson went public with this. She went to Instagram and she told her side of the story.
Well, this dates back to October of last year, where I discovered bad behaviour by these business partners. So I'm just going to tell you who they are. Their names are Amanda Ghost and Gregor Cameron, and an executive producer who works with them called Vince Holden.
In this recent interview on 60 Minutes, by the way, this interviewer is really grilling her. She's asking really good questions. And she is putting her on the spot. And she's asking her directly, why would you call this SH victim a liar? Is that a good thing to do if you want to support someone?
I think, I mean, I have a lot of sympathy for her, and I want to make it very clear that when I first spoke about this publicly, I didn't identify her.
So following all these public allegations, the two producers sued Rebel Wilson for false and malicious lies. In response, Rebel Wilson countersued them, doubling down on accusations of theft, bullying, harassment, and misconduct. Then the actress that came to Rebel Wilson and said that she was SH'd, according to Rebel Wilson, also sued Rebel Wilson for defamation.
You say, Charlotte says all good. She just meant it was a bizarre situation, not that she personally felt uncomfortable. So, all good there. Ghost responds, oh, thank F for that. Oh my God, that's hilarious. I nearly died. You respond, she instantly was like, oh no, zero issues at all. But she said she was happy I called to clarify.
How I would describe those texts is that I'm trying to maintain professional communication.
In the 60-minute interview, Rebel says that the reason why Charlotte changed her mind about her story here is because she wanted to get more opportunities from Amanda Ghost, the producer. And she said that she was in a theater play or a stage play produced by Amanda Ghost, and she thinks that she was basically paid off. Rebel also says in this interview that she was locked into a room and forced to sign papers, that she was physically locked into this room. And Rebel also says that the producers were trying to siphon money from the film. But to me, that doesn't make much sense since they were the ones actually banking the movie. But there are also claims of budget embezzlement here. So the film has been delayed for 2 years. It's coming out in Australia in January, but no distributors in the US market has picked it up. And one of the reasons for that is because of all these legal feuds surrounding it. Okay, so last year, Brian Friedman was hired by Rebel Wilson to defend her. This is where it gets interesting. Also, Melissa Nathan was hired to help her through this crisis. And there are some text messages here that are very interesting, that looks like very clean evidence of what was going on here. Although Rebel does deny this in this interview. So here is the text message exchange between Melissa Nathan and someone else. I don't know if it is Katie Case here as well, but anyways. So here it says, so basically Rebel wants one of those sites. It can be really, really harsh. Russian oligarchs and making her a madam, basically. LOL. Rebel just refuses that she has ever said this and that they are actually basically making this up, and that she was never asked, and she never asked for a website like this, but she has read it.
Obviously, I had zero to do with the websites. I don't even know how to create a website. I had nothing to do with what was on it.
I don't know how that would hold up in court, because this to me looks quite obvious. I don't know how Melissa Nathan is going to explain this, though. I haven't seen any testimony from her in this case yet. I don't really know the relationship between Rebel Wilson and Brian Friedman here either, because he's not working for her anymore. So he left Rebel, I think, in August or September of this year. So he's no longer representing her. I don't know what happened there. And I don't know if Melissa still works for her as well. There's another text exchange here where Melissa is saying, I'm already trying to kill one Rebel story and dealing with Mattel loss for Brian. So it seems like she's also working for Brian Friedman here. I don't know if she's worked for him as a PR expert as well. It kind of seems like that here. I'm not going to say for sure. So here's the interesting part, because this, of course, is something that Blake's lawyers are paying really close attention to, because they can say, look what Melissa Nathan did for Rebel Wilson here. Of course, she did the same thing to us, and she did it to Stephanie Jones. But before I say anything more about that, I just want to mention that if Melissa Nathan did this for Rebel Wilson, or she did this to Stephanie Jones, it doesn't automatically mean that she would do it for Justin Baldoni, because he never asked for a smearing website. And he was so clear in all the communication that we've seen so far that he was not interested in smearing Blake. The only thing that he was interested in was protecting himself. So to say that someone he hired who did something to someone else would automatically do the same to you, how is that going to hold up? But I do think that they're definitely going to use this against Melissa Nathan. Here's the crazy twist though, because as Blake has said that you should believe women, all the people that are involved in this drama here are women. So what woman should you believe? The thing is here, Rebel Wilson claims that she believed the woman coming to her and claiming she was S-aged. But then the actress who was allegedly S-aged says that it didn't happen to her. Should you believe her, or should you believe the woman who says that she told her that she was S-aged? And also, according to Rebel Wilson, she stood up for another woman here. But at the same time, she's accused of using the same method as Blake is accusing Justin Baldoni and the Wayfair Party of using. She's accused of a retaliation campaign, a smear campaign against another woman. The problem for Blake is that she doesn't have any evidence. So if this is what she's going to use, something that happened to someone else in a separate case, in a separate country, that's not going to hold up. Anyway, that's it from you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. Yes, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode of Flawsome Talk, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, we flawsome talk.